Welcome to Wyndham TV. I'm Clash Radio. Thank you very much for watching this video. Wyndham TV is a brand new online TV platform that seeks to highlight the people, their stories, the places and businesses in Wyndham. The city of Wyndham is one of the fastest growing local municipalities in Victoria and probably even the whole of Australia. We believe that it is important as Wyndham grows to have a dedicated online TV platform that highlights life as it is happening in the city of Wyndham. Our focus is on community harmony, local empowerment and economic development in the city of Wyndham. So we very much interested in stories that you have if you live in Wyndham in regards to those things that I've just highlighted. Now, to kickstart our interest in showcasing the people of Wyndham, I've got with me today Sara Mitchel. Sara is a bit of a local champion here in the city of Wyndham. She lives in Point Cook, and she has put together a platform that is called CoLocal, bringing people together to make decisions on executing local projects in the best possible way to bring community harmony and also develop the local economy here in the city of Wyndham. Sara, thank you very much for your time to Wyndham TV. Let me start by asking you to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sara. I'm the founder of CoLocal and I live here in Wyndham.
Please tell us a little bit about your background, Sara.
Well, Clyde, I was actually born in the UK and my family migrated to Africa, to Zimbabwe when I was a toddler. So I grew up in Africa and had quite a good career there. That we managed to take a company public back in Zimbabwe, but sort of in the early 2000s it was a lot of instability, political and economic instability, and we made the decision to bring our family here to Australia, and we settled in Wyndham in 2003.
How did you find the city of Wyndham when you moved into this area first time?
Actually, I found it really hard when we first migrated to Australia. We came in through a skilled migration route, so that side wasn't really hard. But I found that we lost a lot of context in the moving as migrants, and some quite subtle differences. And it took a long time to sort of find that sense of belonging and sense of connection, and to feel like we were truly welcomed as Australians.
And how did you overcome that feeling initially?
I think it sort of really hit home to me sort of in early sort of 2012. I had a chance to sort of step back and think about things. I was going through breast cancer treatment at the time, and it really struck me, it had been sort of very much about, just making a living, keeping a roof over our heads, focusing on that sort of, base stuff. And it really struck me, when I was at home that, I was feeling quite lonely and a bit disconnected. And that sort of changed the sort of trajectory of where I went, because I really started to delve a little bit deeper into that and say, well, how come we don't know our neighbours? What's missing? And started to really think about things in a different way, and think about, well, what does social connection look like, and what do we need to do to sort of build communities where people are connected and working well together.
Sarah, I suppose your African experience kind of helped you in the way you question that whole neighborhood thing, is that right?
Definitely, yeah. One of the things I can say about coming from Africa is that we had very warm connections with one another. We had sort of high levels of trust, and if a new person came to your neighborhood, you were naturally curious about them, and you kind of invited them in and folded them into your way of thinking. But then we'd sort of gone through all of this other stuff that was from the colonial and all of these other sort of things, and we were thought to be quite racist and whatever, whereas Africa's come quite a long way than what people think, and it really sort of did bring it home to me how important it is to sort of nurture that connectedness with one another.
From that sort of feeling of discomfort, what did you do to...
Yes, well, the first thing I did is sort of reached out and sort of, looked for other sort of local people who were doing things. And that sort of led to me connecting with my sort of local co-collaborator now who I'm doing projects with. And, you know, I started thinking about it from the terms that, you know, we're sort of theoretically only 20 k's away from the city, but in reality we're growing so fast that the infrastructure of people working and, you know, having to go somewhere to work is 2 to 4 hours. And when I started looking at the numbers, because I come from, you know, once I'm curious, I start, you know, turning everything over and really trying to understand. And I went, wow, you know, the 70% of our working population is spending 2 to 4 hours going somewhere else to work. And they're also the mums and dads of our kids who are home alone. And, you know, just sort of starting to think about that from how does that build community and how does that create a level of connectedness. So I've been looking at ways that we can overcome that since then.
From that sort of feeling of discomfort, you thought you needed to do something about that. Is that right? What did you do?
Well, one of the recent projects we did was a fantastic collaboration through the Point Cook Action Group, Wyndham City Council and Stockland, where we created a pop-up park in the heart of the town centre. Susan McIntyre and myself were sort of the project leads on that, and you know, we set out to connect the heart, and we had a, you know, very specific that we wanted people to sort of break down the sort of barriers between the 160 different ethnicities that were in our local area, but we also wanted to sort of get our local traders involved. We wanted to improve the local economy as well. And it was a really, really fantastic collaboration. We had over 150 different groups and individuals sort of give of their time and energy and goodwill. And we had an awesome 7-week pilot where 30,000 people came. There was, you know, it was a really interesting exercise to sort of see how it did create a very friendly space by closing a road in the restaurant precinct and just allowing the community to colour it in what actually happened.
Did you get any assistance from the local city council?
We collaborated very closely with our local council on that, specifically the Vibrant Cities teams and the Community Hubs teams. But the nice thing about it is that they let us lead from a community perspective. They didn't dictate, they kind of let us run and let us come to them. So from my point of view, you know, that idea of collaborating well and getting, you know, stakeholder groups working well together with a common objective was really, really good. But having that grassroots bottom-up approach, I think, is very valuable in creating true vibrancy and true connection.
What are some of the lessons you learned from that project?
Very positive lessons on the whole. I think we sort of treated it like being a good host. You know, when you want people to come to your house, you want to be warm and welcoming and everybody to feel a sense of belonging and welcome. And it was interesting seeing how 160 ethnicities sort of played nice with each other. And we found that there was a lot of fusion, you know, people enjoyed sort of enjoying each other's cultures. And one of the interesting things was the space was multi-generational as well. And what I learned was, I'm in a multi-generational household where we've got granny and grandpa and kids and mum and dad sort of all together. But I learned that, you know, it crosses a whole lot of different cultures where that's happening. And that was really lovely to see that they were, you know, that it really engaged with those 3 generations also.
And I think there was something that had to do with business as part of that. Is that right?
Yes, so part of the pop-up part, or what we're doing with CoLocal, is very much about social cohesion and local economy. And we're looking at ways, you know, to build ambassadors through the BizBuddy Hub ambassador group, you know, getting people who naturally sort of build peer groups together, putting a system and a portal behind that, so we're sort of collecting a strong database and really sort of nurturing the values of collaboration, and together we all achieve more. And hopefully that's going to be the way communities work well in the future, where you live, work and play together and really value being, you know, part of the community together.
What are your hopes and fears for the city of Wyndham as a Wyndhamite?
I think City of Wyndham is in a really wonderful phase at the moment. I think growth on the whole is an exciting thing because it allows for a lot of possibilities. But what we need to do is we need to bridge the gap between that old Werribee and this new peach of Wyndham that's growing, and understand that it's a constantly evolving space, and make room for those stakeholders, and make sure that it does feel very welcoming and very inclusive, and that everybody has a part to play. And I think that goes across, with young people and older people, that we don't leave anybody behind. CoLocal, one of the things that we're doing is looking to build capacity and collaboration between different groups. And I think, the more we have these cross conversations and look at projects that we can collectively work on, I think the better the outcomes. Is less siloed approaches and more collaborative approaches are definitely needed, and sort of maybe less, soul culture type of activities, and more intercultural is probably the way to go, just to break down some of those fears and barriers, and let everybody realize that we're all just lovely people raising our families, wanting to find our own sense of belonging and sense of community.
And do you see the role that Wyndham TV can play in sort of facilitating the community harmony?
Absolutely. Tell the stories, all those hidden gems that, that are out there. Let's hear about it. Let's know what people are doing, because I know one of the things that the last few years has taught me is that there's a lot of talent, and there's a lot of goodwill, and there's a lot of awesome people in our community, and they're humble, and they don't shout their names from the rooftops. But I think storytelling is a very, very powerful thing, that we get to know what's happening out there.
Well, thank you very much, Sara, for your time to Wyndham TV. We do appreciate the time you're giving to us to answer our questions, and we wish you good luck in everything you do. We will endeavor to actually highlight some of that in the weeks and months ahead, as we show more of what is happening in this part of Melbourne.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's all, folks. Thank you very much for watching this video. We kindly ask you to share the video, like the page, Facebook page if you haven't done so, and if you have a story, please contact us. Our details are on the screen. We want to talk to anybody who has a good story to tell that helps to show the beauty and the dynamism in the city of Wyndham. Until next time, stay blessed.